Okay. The order that we got yesterday from the judge in New York in the civil lawsuit that Letitia James, the state attorney general, filed against Donald Trump, the Trump Organization, his two sons, Alan Weisselberg, the CFO, and some other folks. I wanted to back up for a second on this and look at the actual lawsuit, the actual complaint that Letitia James filed against these people a year ago. What did she actually sue Trump, his kids, and the Trump Organization for? The complaint that she filed against them is about 222 pages long. About roughly the first 198 pages is a recitation of facts upon which some causes of action are based. What are those causes of action? Like, what are the allegations? First is persistent and repeated fraud. That is the cause of action that is granted in the judge's order. Basically saying there's no factual dispute on the facts as it relates to Donald Trump, his two sons, and the Trump Organization committing persistent and repeated fraud over the period of a decade. So that cause of action has been resolved in the Attorney General's favor and against Donald Trump, Trump Organization, his kids, So that cause of action has been settled. It's been resolved in the Attorney General's favor. So that means that there are 6 remaining causes of action, counts 2 through 7, that will be still to be determined at trial. And trial starts either next week or the week after. It's a bench trial, and they're basically heading into a bench trial, which means there's no jury. They're heading into a bench trial with a judge who already determined that Trump, his kids, and the Trump Organization committed persistent, repeated fraud over 10 years. Count 2 is persistent illegality for false business records. Count 3 is conspiracy to create false business records. Count 4 is false financial statements. Count 5 is conspiracy to create false financial statements. Count 6 is insurance fraud. Count 7 is conspiracy to commit insurance fraud. So those last 6 causes of action are the ones that are still going to be determined during the trial, which starts in a week or two. But the first cause of action, let me read it a little more clearly up here. First cause of action, executive law, section 63, parentheses 12, close parentheses, persistent and repeated fraud. Empowers the Attorney General to seek restitution, damages, and injunctive relief when any person or business entity has engaged in repeated fraudulent or illegal acts or otherwise demonstrates persistent fraud or illegality in the carrying on, conducting, or transaction of business in the state of New York. The judge said, yes, Attorney General, you have proved that cause of action. There is no factual dispute as it relates to that cause of action. You have proved it. I am granting your motion for summary judgment. That count is adjudicated in your favor against the defendants, and we're only going to deal with the final remaining 6 causes of action at trial. And proving that cause of action is very likely going to put Donald Trump and the Trump Organization out of business. So I love that for them.